Good afternoon and welcome to, well, the wettest safari I've had since I've been back in South Africa. And it's hard to tell whether it's the sunset or the sunrise safari, so you can choose this afternoon. I wonder what we're going to do today other than be very soggy. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is still Batman, a.k.a. Craig, as some of the normal people know. Now, I'm wearing my hood because I'm cold and it's very rainy and it's keeping me nice and warm. So if you'd like to comment on my jacket today, you can do so by hashtagging Safari Live, or you can also talk to us via the YouTube chat. Preferably, we'd prefer questions about animals, but to be honest, we'll take anything we can get. But it's not just me out on drive today. Tristan is also out bumbling about, hiding under his roof. Brent, he's also going to be there. We're sending him off to Chitwa. He drew the short straw. He's going to do all the hippos, all the crocodiles, and all the birds. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun too. But expect a lot of rain. Some good things could happen this afternoon. There's definitely been some word on 2 different packs of wild dogs, so hopefully one of those packs cross onto the property. I know Brent's going to be quite excited. I'm excited. Tristan's excited. It's going to be a fight to whoever gets them first. Anyways, off you go to Brent so he can also say good afternoon.
If there's a chance of wild dogs, Taylor McCurdy, you will eat my dust. But in the meantime, we have ground hornbill. Beautiful bird, and they are endangered in southern Africa due to the fact of receding habitat. They are an indicator species of a healthy ecosystem, which is good news because obviously we're in a healthy ecosystem. My name is Brent Smith. I have a dangerous Dave the Dimple on camera, and so as you can see, it's quite wet, cold, and quite rainy. But we've got our roofs on, and let's try to see if we can get another view of that ground hornbill. Remember, if you have any questions for us, pop them on whichever feed you're watching on, or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Can't wait to hear from you. Now, I've got a question for you, since we have spent a lot of time with ground hornbills over the years. Who can tell me how long does a ground hornbill live for? Hashtag Safari Live if you know the answer. How long does a ground hornbill live for? Say when, Davy? Oh, there's another one. There's a few of them here. The one's flying off, but we'll stick with the one that's not flying away from us. They are stunning birds, massively big. Size comparison, probably a bit bigger than a turkey. And they are incredible hunters, and they use that sharp beak of theirs to catch snakes, scorpions. They'll even off it goes. And you can see they're so heavy they need a jump start to get the wing going. So a little turbo boost from the undercarriage for them to get going and fly off. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so remember, how old are ground hornbills? Hashtag Safari Live. And I'm hugging my tea this afternoon because it is quite chilly, and it is very nice to have a comforting cup of tea. And I don't think Tristan's got one, so let's go see how uncomfortable he is without a comforting cup of tea.
I don't know what's wrong with Brent Smith today, but he's full of the joys of life, and maybe it's his tea that's talking, because I had my cup of tea already today. But anyway, as Brent mentioned, my name is Tristan, and on camera I have got Sebastian once again for a rather rainy start to our day. And in the background, as you can see, that they are not, it's not just me, but there is also our 3 boys that have come right out onto the dam wall, and they've decided that it's time to have a little kind of peer over the dam. I believe that there was just now some elephants that were around as well that may have pushed them out from their little slumber, and now they're kind of just sitting in the rain and just getting wet, as I suppose everybody else is doing today, because it is that kind of weather where everybody is just trying to kind of find somewhere to sit, and it doesn't matter if you're in the grass or if you are on the dam wall out in the open, you're going to get wet either way. But there's a big yawn, and I wonder if they're going to be fairly active this afternoon. They would have slept off a lot of their buffalo during the course of today, and so I would think that maybe, just maybe, they might actually be in the mood to hunt. The problem is that we're right up on the northern boundary, and so that means that they could potentially, unfortunately, get going and go straight north, which will end our viewing of them. I do apologize about the pole. The pole is obviously an essential part of a rain safari. It is going to be there most of the afternoon, so I do apologize about it. I'll try and position a little bit better to help Seb just now. But what is really nice is that we've found ourselves in a situation where we can sit lower than what they are, so we're almost kind of at eye level with them, which is very, very cool. It's not every day that you can be eye level with a male lion, and so it's a nice little angle that we've got with the rain kind of falling down. Very, very pretty, and a good way to spend our afternoon, I would say. At least we have some cats. What's today? Is today Thursday? So it's Thursday today. So at least we've got some cats for Thursday, which is always very, very good. But it's amazing, when we were watching them this morning, two of them that were in the kind of grassy area, they really didn't look that big. But now that I see them kind of lying out in the open, they're actually impressive young lads. I think they're going to be quite big boys in a few years' time. Give them maybe another 2 years and those manes to really develop, and they'll be quite an impressive bunch. And there's definitely a situation where there's one blondie, which is quite typical when you have coalitions of male lions. You generally get a situation. Now there's the pole in the way, so I'm going to just reposition ourselves. Seb, give me 2 seconds so that you can get into a better place, because we got here just as Rebecca was linking to us, so I think we just didn't time things very well, but we'll get it right now. Let's have a look quickly. I just want to try and turn. So Rebecca is reminding me that it is World Water Day, and that it is wonderful that it is raining on World Water Day. No, I'm just joking. It is very good that it's raining. We obviously need the rain, and given that water is such a precious commodity these days, and everywhere seems to be having some sort of issues with water. Either you're having too much of it, or we're having too little of it. And so having a bit of rain like this is great for World Water Day indeed. I think it's a very, very cool thing, and the fact that there is a day dedicated to water is very special. Ultimately, we are made up of mostly water, and so it's an important thing to discuss. So if you've got water questions, then I suppose today's the day. Send them through on #SafariLive or the YouTube chat if you would like to. Good. Now, our lions, I don't think, are huge fans of World Water Day. I'm pretty sure they're not so happy with all the rain that is falling, but how beautiful is that? Look at his kind of mane that's going down his chest. These guys will get really big manes eventually when they do kind of fill out a little bit. They've got quite big puffy sort of hair growth on their elbows already, and so I'd imagine when it all kind of fills out, they're going to be quite impressive lads. I'm looking forward to actually seeing how they develop, if they stay around here, or just in general to follow them. It'll be interesting to see where they go and where they end up and how it all kind of plays out. But isn't that pretty? Very, very cool. I think so. You've got the beautiful russet bush willow in the background, adding a little bit of coloration, and then our boy that's just kind of standing up in the foreground. So it's a nice little bit of color around him with the little drops of water falling as well. Very, very cool to see. Oh, he's going to the toilet. Lovely. So, Paul, the Birmingham boys would probably have to be quite near to hear them. These boys are not really making too much noise. So I think it's more a case that the Birminghams have to walk where these guys have walked and pick up their scent more than actually hear them. I don't think we're going to have a situation where they're actually going to hear them from just them sitting around like this. But if they actually start to urinate like that, and then you have a situation where I could very well pick up their scent from wherever they actually are walking, and then follow them to this area, and that could be from a very long distance. But in terms of hearing, unless these guys start calling, they're not going to hear them from very, very far away at all. They will have to be very close in order to hear them. Very, very cool, though, at least that they're around. Like I said, it's going to be interesting if they do start to vocalize. I'm hoping that tonight, because it's going to be a rainy, dingy night, that it'll get dark quite early, and maybe that will allow these guys to try and have a little go at roaring, and maybe we'll get a situation where we'll hear them actually trying to belt it out, and we'll see whether they're brave enough to actually roar. So, Patrick, no, like I was saying, they haven't really been roaring much lately. I haven't heard them. They've been around for the last 3 weeks, and I haven't heard them at all. It's not to say that they haven't roared. Of course, they could have roared quite easily, and they could have roared in Buffelshoek, and we just haven't heard them. Brent is my neighbor, and so things are generally quite loud around the place and don't really hear too much of what's going on. No, just kidding. He's actually not too bad. But they haven't really, from what I've heard, they haven't really been roaring very much. And there comes the Ellies now. Seb, can you see them? They're coming down onto the other side. I'm just going to go back a little bit so we can actually get a better view of them, because Seb's got a pole and a big buffalo thorn that's coming down. Now, I wonder what the Ellies are going to do, if they're going to come this way, or if they're going to decide... Hold on, Seb, I'll turn you a little bit, just hold on. So there we go, that should be... Is that alright, Seb? There we go, cool. So it'll be interesting if they're just going to drink and then go back the way that they came, or if they're going to come along the dam wall and chase these male lions. They could very well chase these boys. It wouldn't be impossible, and wouldn't be a situation where it would be improbable for them to actually come across the dam wall. Most of the time that the Ellies actually come to Buffelshoek Dam, if they don't go back the way they came, then they often do come across this dam wall and move into this area. So we'll just have to sit tight and see how this plays out, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Either way, amazing to have two of the most iconic species of Africa in the same place. So finally, I've had a sighting at Buffelshoek Dam of elephants and a cat together. It seems like everybody else has had plenty of these sightings, and I've had a situation where I haven't seen too many things at Buffelshoek Dam, so I'm quite thrilled that there's actually Ellies at the dam itself. And I didn't really expect the Ellies in weather like this. I would have thought that the Ellies would have not to been too worried about coming for water, but I suppose they still need it and require it. And you can see there's actually a tiny, tiny little baby there. Now that little baby is going to be something that lions could potentially hunt, and so I would imagine the mother of that baby is going to be very defensive and would want to chase these lions very far away. So if these elephants do come this way, these lions might get themselves into a little spot of bother and might get pushed around a little bit. So it looks like the Ellies are slowly meandering their way along. You see how they're moving across the bank there? So let's just see. I see more elephants in the distance coming as well. So we might end up with quite a few here, which will be very interesting to see. I wonder if this isn't maybe a portion of FANG's herd, because we know FANG has been hanging around here. I would be so thrilled if it is a portion of FANG's herd. Of course, it would mean that we'd have a lot more elephants joining. That herd is close to 50 elephants, so there's a lot of them in there, but I don't see any sign of her. I just see a couple grey backs in the bushes around us, and it looks really, really like there's quite a few of them coming. So hopefully FANG will make an appearance as well. It'll be a very exciting time. I'm interested to see how these Ellies go about this, because the thing is where they're walking is very steep. So you often find the Ellies don't actually kind of navigate along the shoreline of this dam. It gets too steep for them, so they normally go back up and then up onto the dam wall and across the dam wall. I actually don't think that they've seen the lions yet, and probably with this rain that we've got and the lack of wind, you might find that they haven't even smelt them either. And so when they go up onto the dam wall, they might get a bit of a fright, and I can assure you that they will be trumpeting and chasing should that happen. So as soon as we see them going up onto the dam wall, it'll be an interesting situation. But for now, it's just about quenching thirst and making sure everybody gets nice and hydrated. So you see the little baby is going up, and if that little baby is not careful and it separates too far from its mom, I've seen lions go after babies like that because they are so little. Look, this lion is stalking. The lion is actually up and having a look. You see that? So the lion is trying to position itself so that maybe this baby elephant pops up, they can potentially get it. So that's really interesting. Now, we're going to have to just reposition. I want to just reposition ourselves because I don't want to be in a situation where we can't see what's going on. Now, I'm just going to keep quiet for a little bit because we are going to do a unscheduled broadcast, so hold on for 2 seconds. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a very rainy, very wet South Africa. As you can see, we have got a standoff between two of Africa's biggest and most iconic animals. So we've got a big male lion that's busy stalking a tiny baby elephant. So there's a little baby that's sitting behind mom. The adults are busy drinking, and the little baby is wandering away from the adults every now and then, and that's why that male lion is creeping up there. It's seen that maybe, just maybe, there might be an opportunity to try run in and grab that little baby elephant, which is absolutely insane because generally we don't see lions hunting elephants very often. Now, my name is Tristan. On camera I've got Sebastian, and this is coming to you live out of South Africa. which means that you can ask as many questions as you would like to, and we'll try and answer as many as possible. And you can do that by putting them in the comments section below. Now, that male lion was sitting, sleeping. He was feeling very sorry for himself with the rain that was falling. And all of a sudden, when that little baby elephant started moving up the bank away from the herd, he got up and walked to try and position himself there. And so what he's doing is he's trying to use the wall at the moment as a way to hide him, so that if that elephant, the little baby, does come up, he's able to then rush and try and grab that elephant and try and inflict some sort of injury to the elephant before the herd reacts. And I can promise you, if he grabs that baby, the herd will go absolutely crazy, and we'll have a situation where there'll be trumpeting, stampeding elephants everywhere. So it's going to be a tense situation, and one that we need to just kind of follow and monitor very, very closely. I think he's got a bit of a cheek though, because ultimately he's going to have a bit of a problem. Now you can see that there's two of his brothers are sitting waiting at the moment and seeing what their brother is doing. So Jason, yes, if the baby gets tackled by that lion, you'll find the entire herd will come at once to try and protect that little one and to try and look after it. So you can see, look, the lion is just peering over the top of the dam wall. It's looking for that little baby, but it is, like I say, very cheeky, because this whole herd will come running. They'll all try and chase that male lion, and what it will have to do is try and tackle this little baby to hurt it, and then try and kind of back off and then kind of keep going back and forth. And that's normally how it goes. Now, Stacey, this coalition is a new coalition to our area. In fact, this coalition is a coalition that we've only seen for the first time properly today. So they arrived about 2 days ago, and they were floating around on our northern boundaries, and then they've just crossed over during the night. And it's called the Avoca Coalition. So they come from quite far north of us in an area called the Timbavati, and they've come south towards this area. So, Paul, there is only these three males, which is a coalition. They come from a pride that is further north of us, that is about 20 lions, or was 20 lions. Apparently they're down to about 15, but because they were young males, they were chased out by the dominant males as these guys were starting to develop and become territorial. And so what's happening now is these are nomadic boys that are trying to set up a territory, and so it's just the three of them. There's no other males within this pride. They did have a bit of a fight with our resident pride here called the Inkuhuma pride, where they chased them off a buffalo kill, not last night, the night before, and that pride is actually serviced by different males. It's a coalition of 4 males called the Birminghams that normally are in this area, and those Birminghams, if they come here, are going to be very upset that these 3 are around. So, Jessica, the elephants could potentially kill the lions, but it's not easier. Remember, a lion is a very fleet-footed animal and runs faster than what the elephants do. So elephants, if they can catch a lion, yes, they could very well kill it, and their size difference and strength could easily make it possible for them to kill a lion. But a lion is much faster and much more agile, and that means it can generally get away from the elephants before it gets close. Now, the little baby elephant is wandering off. You can see it just behind its mom. It's kind of... it's difficult to see now. It's between its mom and its sibling. There it is. So that's the tiny little baby that this male was watching, and it's now been very clever. It's sitting right up against mom, and so the moment to go after that little baby is pretty much gone. This male lion won't be able to wrestle with any of these other elephants that we've got. They're all far too large for him to go after. And you can see, actually, it's quite funny. He's not even watching the elephants right below him. He's starting to watch just the elephant right in the distance. You see, look, he's not really looking at those that are to his left. He's looking at the little baby that's walking off. But he's got really no chance, and there's very few lions that will ever get hunting of elephants right. It's not something that is easy to do, and you find a situation where most of the time lions get bullied. So, Bruno, you say, wow, this is amazing. It is amazing. This is a very, very special thing. It's not something that you see every single day. You'll often find lions lying and elephants moving across, but it's very seldom that you see a lion interested in actually trying to maybe chase or hunt an elephant. So it is a very special sighting, and having them in such close proximity is really very, very cool. And the best part about it is that we get to share this with all of you, and so you're a part of the largest safari vehicle in the whole of the world to be able to watch this and see this coming to you from South Africa. Now, Jamie, we all, I think, are all breathing a sigh of relief that the little baby will be safe and that the lion probably won't get it. Although you can never say never. Even from here, maybe this male can cause some sort of disturbance, that little baby maybe runs in the wrong direction and runs towards the other 2 male lions, and they can grab it. But I think at this stage we're pretty much all right. But you see, look, the elephants are walking along the bank, and they might disrupt these lions a little bit. So, Stacey, you say these lions look skinny or hungry, or is it just their age? So no, these guys are actually not skinny or hungry. They have been feeding a lot. They ate a baby buffalo 3 days ago. They then ate a bit of a buffalo not last night, the night before, and so they've just digested a little bit through the day. It's been quite a cold day, and that means that they probably utilize a lot of their resources quite quickly. The other male that is sitting here, so not the one standing, one of the ones that is sitting, is actually quite round and quite full at the moment, so he had obviously the lion's share, so to speak, of food. But I think these elephants have now smelt these lions, because they've all of a sudden started putting up their trunks. Look, you can see it's basically a face-to-face between the elephant and the lion. So the elephant is there, and the lion is just on top looking at them, and you can see how that elephant was putting up its trunk. It was trying to sniff, and look what the lion's doing. The lion's going down behind that little embankment so that it can hide away, and then it can walk all the way along back towards its brothers without the elephant seeing it and therefore chasing it, because it doesn't want to attract too much attention. There, now the elephant has spotted it. You see, look, the elephant's tail has gone right out, trunk is up, ears are out, so it probably spotted a bit of the movement as well as smelt that lion, and it's reacted immediately. Let's see if it's going to come up and chase this lion. It'll be interesting. It's a very steep slope that elephant has got to go up. It's going to be quite difficult for that Ellie to actually get up there, but you never know. The lion's lost interest completely now. He's just wandering off, and probably better, because otherwise he was going to get himself into a lot of trouble if he stayed where he was. Carol, no, I don't think the Ellies feel trapped at the water's edge. They can move both ways, so they can either go back from where they came or towards where we are. They can also go up the bank if they should want to. You can see that they're not really too phased. It's not like they are shouting or vocalizing in any way. So I think that they're okay. In fact, two of them are having the biggest game. The two young sub-adults in the background, they are pushing each other around and having a wonderful time of playing and having a bit of boisterous teenage nonsense. So, Rick, even if lions are not that hungry, they still will go after any opportunity that comes their way. They are opportunistic animals, and so if you have a situation where they're sitting and they might even have been on a kill, full big belly, and all of a sudden, let's say a buffalo walks past, they are going to try and go after it, because they don't know when their next opportunity is going to come, and so they'll take any opportunity that they can get and try and go after it. But look how cool this is. Look at him walking up towards the brothers, and we're almost at an eye-level view. And there'll be a bit of bonding. Look at that little head rub. How cool is that? So lots and lots of bonding takes place between these coalition members. These guys are going to stay together, and they're going to rely on each other for the rest of their life in order to stay safe and to try and dominate an area and to try and secure a piece of land that they can then mate and find food. And so it's important that they maintain the bond and this sort of relationship between them by nudging up and just kind of strengthening that. So, Gloria, yes, male lions do hang out together regularly. They form what's called a coalition, and coalitions can be anything from 2 lions all the way up to 6, 7. The most I've ever heard of personally was 9, but they didn't actually stay together for a very long period of time. The most that I've seen stay together sort of throughout their life was 6 males, and even then they split up a little bit. But it is common to see what it allows them to do is it allows them to dominate bigger tracts of land, and when they dominate bigger tracts of land, they can find then more food, more water, and more females. And even though there might be, let's say, 3 in a coalition like this, they can dominate maybe 3, 4 prides because of the 3 of them, and they're able to then chase out single males or even 2 males, and they can then take over 4 prides. Each male will still get an opportunity to mate. Maraja, these boys haven't dominated a pride yet or have a territory just yet, so there's no females in this area because these males are not really accepted as the dominant males. So there was females here 2 days ago and they chased them, trying to kind of assert themselves, but because the females have cubs with other males, they're very nervous of that, and they're going to then try and keep their cubs as safe as possible. Now look, the elephants are coming up the bank, so I think these lions might unfortunately get chased off at some point. They're going to have a situation where it's going to probably end up in them giving way. You normally find it. Now you see the females coming up. Look at her tail going erect, ears out. She's trying to impose herself, make herself look bigger so that the lions feel a little bit more intimidated, and you'll find the lions will give way. They know that Ellie's there we go. So there's 1 line up, 2 line, 3 lines, and off they go. They know they need to head off. And it's that elephant is just so much bigger and more powerful that's why they're being chased off. There it goes. You see the elephant is just making sure it stands up nice and tall and shows the lions exactly who is the king out here and who's the biggest. And it just goes to show that in nature, size does matter. Now, hopefully our boys don't walk too far because it gets very thick inside there and we might lose view of the boys. But you can hear the Ellie is actually grumbling a little bit. Right, now, while our Ellies sit and smell these male lions who are just getting up and moving, we're going to carry on sitting here and see how this plays out. You can join us too on Safari Live, and you can just Google that and find us wherever it takes you, and hopefully you'll join us for the rest of the safari. We're going to be out here for quite some time still, but it's been an absolute pleasure having you all with us, and we hope to see you on Safari Live sometime soon. Right, so that was very, very cool, and glad that we did that. You can see some of the bulls are now starting to swim, so we've got some of the youngsters that are in the water. They're not going to be in there for long, I don't think. It's not hot enough to keep them in there for a long period of time, but let's see how it goes. You know how young elephants can be. They can be a bit boisterous. I'm going to try just reposition for Seb, because otherwise he's trying to shoot through a tree. So let's try and go a little bit further back again. I want to just remember that we've got these poles, so I don't want to... Seb, if the poles get in the way, just tell me.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you.
There we go. Right, so our little ones are just starting to splash around and play and push each other and being typical boisterous young boys at a waterhole. They love doing this kind of stuff, so it's always entertaining to watch them and to see how it goes. And like I say, they'll probably won't be in here for too long, but you never know. Sometimes this does take a while, and particularly because these lions are around, you might find with the other Ellies just standing watch, they might play a little bit longer. Good, well, while these two wrestle around in the water, let's send you off to Taylor Mac so she can say hello and, well, tell you what her plans are for the afternoon and where she's heading.
Well, I think we're going to go and check the water levels of the dams today, Tristan. Not that it's rained too much. But since as though it is World Water Day, we must remember that we need to conserve as much of it as we can. So one of the things that we've done here at Wild Earth is have a look at this. So nice. There we go. Got a quick drink of water while we go. We collect the water on the roof and then run it straight down and into your mouth. Sorry, now I have a problem. Now I want to turn the radio down, but it's not simple in this car. That's why I don't have the Game Drive radio on ever. The worst invention in the whole entire world, in my opinion. Anyways, so we're going to head towards Treehouse Dam. Craig and I, the only animal we've driven past is 2 turtle doves. Hey, Craig. I think we did drive past 2 turtle doves a little bit earlier, but we haven't seen anything. Not an impala, not a warthog, not any of the animals, not even a yellow-billed hornbill out this afternoon. I think everybody's tucked away and calling it early, but I'm pretty sure the blacksmith lapwings are going to be there to save the day, so we'll spend a little bit of time with them, perhaps an Egyptian goose, maybe 2 if we're really, really quite lucky. And if you're wondering why my hat is wet, it's because, well, it's raining outside and I had my hood on, so I'm going to put my hood back on to keep my hair dry, because that's the most important thing that needs to stay dry this afternoon. But the elephants don't mind getting their hair wet, so let's go watch them swim with Tristan.
Well, they are definitely not minding getting their hair wet. It's a full-on fiesta in the water at the moment. I suppose if you're getting rained on, you might as well just get properly wet and go into the water itself and really kind of get yourself properly wet. But you can see they're kind of pushing each other around every now and then. There's a lot of playing that's happening, and these guys are having the best time at the moment. How cool is this? And poor Hippo is hating life it's getting pushed around all over the place, and it's probably like, it's just here with all the bubbles. You can see there's bubbles everywhere. This poor hippo has had to dodge elephants left, right and center. Every time it tries to move in one direction, the ellies get pushed in that direction, and the poor hippo has to then kind of go another way. So I'm sure our hippo is not very happy with the noisy neighbors that have entered the fray and the boisterous boys that are around. So I believe you guys can hear the splashing and the clashing of tusks. Now there is going to be a vehicle that's going to come past, so that might just make a little bit of noise. But I think maybe swim time is over. It looks like it. Looks like they might be heading off and deciding to go and actually feed now, and that's the end of that. Yep, there we go. So that's the end of that for now. So, Magic Dragon, young elephants, not really. I mean, hippos, I suppose, could be a bit of a threat to a baby elephant, but generally when there's a baby, there's mom, and mom is normally very defensive of her young ones, and so she'll probably chase a hippo away quite quickly. Hippos know that big elephants are not something to be messed with, and you find that they try and leave them alone as much as possible. So I don't think you'd see too much in the way of an hippo going after elephants. I've personally never seen it. You can sometimes see them kind of going up to elephants and displaying, but I don't think they would ever follow through from it. See, our boys are now starting to go back into the water again. They've decided they want to play a little bit more. So maybe let's go round, although mom and baby are still blocking the dam wall, so we're not going to be able to go anywhere at this stage. They're still on the dam wall over there, kind of very sort of clearly looking at wherever those male lions are. The males have gone into the thickets and are not even visible anymore, so I don't think we're going to see too much more of them. So Senak, surprisingly, elephants are good swimmers. They've got big round feet which allow them to actually propel water, and so or push water away from them, and so they actually can go through and swim quite well. There's quite a famous photograph of an Indian elephant swimming, or Asian elephant swimming across in very blue water. Okay, yeah. You've got to love elephants swimming. They are such characters, and they kind of, it's almost like they throw a tantrum and then they just throw their trunk down and they just kind of say, that's it, I'm done, and then lie down on the edge of the water. Isn't that cool? I don't know what it is with sleepy ellies at the moment. We've had so many of them kind of just lie down recently. It's been very, very cool to see. Now it still seems like they're having the best time, these two. How cool is that? Very, very cool. A brief hiatus, I think, before it starts again. This is what happens, is when they get a little tired, then they rest for a bit, and then it starts with the nonsense, and they start pushing each other and kind of going at each other a little bit. It's quite interesting how it happens. Now, got to make sure other side is wet as well, so it's lots of rolling around that's taking place at this stage. Very, very, very funny to watch. Now comes the other one again. Like I said, brief hiatus and back to full-on playing. Ellies are the best. When they swim like this, it's got to be one of the most special things to watch, because it's just something that's, you know, you don't really ever have a picture in your mind as to how playful elephants can be until you see them doing these kind of things and pushing each other around. It really is amazing. It's like little children. I wonder how long this will go on for. Maybe it'll be until the female and the young one disappear. They seem to be kind of moving off now, so Bex, I think that they know their own power. Rebecca in FC is asking about young elephants, whether they know how strong they are, or do I think that they can hurt each other. I suppose every now and then it gets a little too much and they do hurt each other, and then you'll find that it kind of separates, but I think they pretty much know how strong they are, and I'm sure that they have thick enough skin, and you know that they're able to deal with one another's nonsense as much as possible. But I'm pretty sure there's every now and then you get some issues. Right, well, we'll keep watching our ellies, and while we do, let's send you back across to Taylor and see if her lapwings at the water are being just as boisterous as these two.
We are at Treehouse Dam, and guess what, everybody? We win the golden prize for the safari this afternoon because we've got Mr. and Mrs. Blacksmith Lapwing. Hello, you two. Off they are, still busy this afternoon, not letting the rain get them down, still walking about, not as quickly as they were last night, but still looking for insects. That's actually quite interesting. In the last couple of days when we've been seeing them feeding, they've been feeding on the surface of the water, because that's, of course, where all the little insects have been. But today, however, is not as hot. So they seem to be dropping their beaks down a little further into the water too. So I suppose not only are they feeding on insects of the water, they could be catching little water striders, other little water bugs that are perhaps moving around in there. You know what? And it wouldn't surprise me if they caught the odd tadpole too. I don't think that they would sort of say no to something like a tadpole. Looking very carefully. It must be a bit harder for them to find food. Now, Francis, you're wondering if these lakes are formed by a nearby river or rain. This is actually done by rain, in fact. So, Treehouse Dam, I suppose, we've got a dam wall here, seems to hold water the best out of all the dams in the property. But it is indeed from rain. So we don't pump water into here at all. The only area that we do pump water into is a small pan. And I don't even know if that pump is still working up near the dam cam. So not Vuyatela Dam itself, but there's a little pan up top which we often fill up, but I haven't seen them putting water in that once since I've been back. So this dam's still got quite a bit of water in. I'm hoping that we get a bit of a downpour a little bit later this afternoon when we're all tucked away in bed. Well, not this afternoon, this evening. I mean, that's going to be the ideal thing. If we can get 30 mils of rain, it'll be really, really quite nice. These dams will fill up perfectly and it will push us through. Probably not till the end of winter, but it will just do enough though, however. Oh, very exciting. It seems as though elephants are the theme of the day today. Not with me, but with Tristan and now with Brent.
Well, it seemed quite fitting that it's World Water Day, so we came to the largest water hole in the northern Sabi Sands, Chitwa Dam. And there's a lovely breeding herd of elephants that just finished their drink and are now meandering slowly along the edge. And it's definitely raining quite a bit harder here on Chitwa than it is on Djuma, but I think that weather is heading towards Djuma. Oh, crocodile. There we go. Crocodilian as well. And you can hear the poof of a hippo close by. But I think we'll come back for the crocodile and hippo. Let's get into a spot for these ellies. This hippo is having the best time. A cavorting hippopotamus. Okay, let's get into a spot where those ellies... Oh, here comes the rain again. Sinak's wondering... that. We had a little bit of an audio dip there. Mac was wondering what is the temperature of the water.
Well, I can't say that Brent Smith is not a colourful character at all, but we are sorry about that. We just had a little technical thing. We were busy filming some slow motion stuff for some of our Safari Live stories, so I do apologize about the little black screen. But anyway, our ellies are still busy at it. They're still going crazy and still kind of moving around and splashing about. It's all sort of guns blazing at this stage. They really are having the best time out in the water. They are thoroughly enjoying themselves, which is very, very cool to see. I love watching the ellies when they're like this. It's the best thing. And you find that they kind of the way that they do this always brings out the joy in anybody. I'm yet to see somebody that does not enjoy an elephant swimming and pushing each other around and having a bit of a play date with one another. But how cool is this? Absolutely love watching them when they're in these kind of moods, because they just become, like little children, really. I think that might be it for the game, though, unfortunately. Maybe that's going to be all that's playtime allowed for today. Seems like it at this stage. So, Sinak, you're asking what the temperature of the water is here. I don't know. I haven't, a long time since I put my foot in Buffelshoek Dam. But I would imagine that it would be fairly warm. Probably find, I would say, maybe low to mid-20s in Celsius. So, maybe a little bit warmer than that. Maybe even high 20s. I'd say probably around 26, 27 degrees. Maybe. I mean, it depends on the weather. Now, today, we would have lost a lot of temperature. But be about somewhere in that general sort of area, I think. Roughly. Might be wrong. We'll have to get a thermometer. Now here comes trouble, because here comes another bull that's coming down, and I think we're going to get another pushy argy-bargy session. So there's our other bull that's just coming in and kind of making his way towards this area, and the other one that was pushing, was a part of the original fight, is now moving towards him. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see a whole bunch more fighting and carrying on as we go. Let's see. These two are a little bit more evenly matched. The other one is slightly bigger, but let's see how these two go. I'm pretty sure they're going to push each other. It's kind of impulse that there we go. Young bulls cannot help themselves. Now a little greeting, little handshake, and then time to play. So they worked out that we know each other. It's now time that we have a bit of fun and we start pushing each other around. And so back into the water we go. The other one a little scared to get his trunk wet at this stage. Looks like it. You know how it is when you first get in, you have to dip your toes first. So Mrs. Lapwing, you're asking what argy-bargy is. Argy-bargy is a term for young sort of individuals, we'll call it, because it can be animal or people, that like to kind of push each other around. So it's a little bit of sort of wrestling and playful games that are played, and you see it in kind of, kids that are teenagers that mess around and play on the field or in sports. You say it's a little argy-bargy. It's when people are kind of just pushing each other around and getting a little kind of physical with each other, and so that's what you call it. But is this one going to really sit? It is sitting. You can't push the other one while sitting. You must stand up. There we go. That's better. Very playful, this lot. I feel like they are absolutely loving the fact that it's a bit of cooler weather, that they can have this epic time and go running around like hooligans. Now they're going to go join the third one. So let's see. Are we going to get a whole bunch of them all together? It looks that way, doesn't it? Let's see. There we go. Yep. So this one is stuck between a rock and a hard place. If it wasn't going to get wet, I think it's going to get wet now. It's now between the two boys that were originally fighting, and both of them are kind of waiting. I apologize about the pole. It unfortunately is what it is. It's going to be in the shot for now, and as soon as these bulls decide to go back into the water, it will disappear again. But for now, we're going to have to just see. There we go. It's now getting pushed from behind, and it's going to get pushed straight into the face of the other one, and so I'm pretty sure water is where it's destined. So Sinak, no, elephants are not territorial over waterholes. You'll have a situation where multiple different male elephants will come down to waterholes, herds will come down, they make use of it regularly, and there will be different groupings all the time. So you just kind of have that situation where at times it's it seems as though some bulls will dominate a waterhole, but it's not always the case. It's a situation where, you'll have many different elephants coming to a waterhole, and a big bull, if it's a dry period, might try and chase off some of the younger bulls or herds, but in the end, they're not really territorial. They're not marking their territory around a waterhole or defecating or scenting to try and keep others away. Now this pole is really in the worst possible spot. Of course it would be when the elephants decide to play on the bank itself. So there we go, just try. So there we go, they're having a little bit of playtime now on the muddy banks because water is finished. It's now time to start playing in the mud. Really are delinquent teenagers, these two. Anyway, while we sit with these guys and watch them bully each other and push each other around, let's send you back across to Brent, who's got something completely opposite in the form of a peaceful little bird on the shore. Gone quiet, which can only be described as something happening in the universe, but it seems as though it's probably just to do with his mic or something to do with Chitwa that he's battling to pick up. So also you might have seen that black screen again, and it's because we were doing the slow-mos again, so I do apologize about that. We're just trying to get some nice footage for, like I say, some of our stories that we do afterwards, so I do apologize about all of the little glitches that are happening at the moment. It's live, it's television, so it does happen from time to time. But now the three of them have joined. Our hippo is still not loving this at all. He's kind of coming across and just, you can see that is a hippo that is not very impressed with the neighbors. Sorry boy, have they ruined your resting day? Your slumber has been ruined by big elephants and lions that have been around all day long. Right, well, our Ellies are going to carry on with their mischief. I'm pretty sure it's not going to end here, and so while they carry on with this naughtiness that is happening, let's send you across to Taylor, who's got some birds shuffling through something that maybe the elephants left behind.
I'm not shuffling through anything for a change, but this southern red-billed hornbill is doing a great job at dismantling that elephant dung. Yes, look at it. It's done a fabulous job. I think it's a combination between the cars driving over it, which we shouldn't be doing. Everybody, please remember, try not to drive over any form of dung if you can help it, even if it is dog feces. The reason why I say this is that there are lots of little insects that will go in there and try and feast upon it, and then you will just end up squashing them. And, well, here in South Africa, we have other animals like the hornbills, both yellow and red-billed hornbills particularly enjoy doing this, moving through all of the dung. And it's pretty important because, like I said, all those little creatures that may go to feast on the partially digested vegetation, or if it's a carnivore, the meat, whatever's left of the meat and the blood and all those things, and they will gobble it all up. But these guys are looking for insects in particular, and I don't think that was really too fresh. I think that's from a few days ago, which would have been perfect for it, because that means it would have given those little beetles and things and larvae some time to get on in there. Now, done with the dung, though, into the grass, where there could be caterpillars and grasshoppers and all sorts of other wonderful creatures. This is basically the first proper bird sighting, other than the blacksmith lapwings, that we've had all afternoon. But the rain is letting up slightly, and I am starting to hear calls of turtle doves and crested francolins and all sorts of other critters, little testiculars. So that's quite nice. As long as the rain is not too heavy, they should come out again. Coast Rider, you said they've got such a funny walk. They do when they do move around. I like it when they hop. That's my favorite. They bounce from from point A to point B most of the time, but they do definitely have an interesting gait. They are funny birds, especially the ones that hang around in camp. We actually have a pair of southern red-billed hornbills that frequent the camp. Normally that pair and then the pair of yellow-billed hornbills that also pass on through have domestics often, and it's normally over the disco ball. Obviously the disco ball, I climbed up a tree and put a disco ball in a large fruited bush willow almost a year and a bit ago. It's still up there, but of course the little mirrors that are on it are very attractive when the sun hits it, and well, both parties seem to fight over it quite a bit. That's quite hilarious to watch. That and all the beetles that die in and around camp. They have a great time. They have an easy meal coming through, and we don't even have to pick them up and remove them. The hornbills do that all for us. Bye-bye, Hornbill. Thank you, Hornbill. Okay, let's carry on. Now, Sheila, I wish I had my Big Africa bird book with me this afternoon, but it was going to get wet, so I was not going to bring that out with me. You've asked about the differences between the northern and the southern hornbills. Well, I suppose up north I think you get the northern red-billed hornbill too. I'm trying to remember if I saw one or not. Maybe some of you can help refresh my memory. But I'm not sure. We're going to check these pans as well. The go-away bird we won't be able to see. It's too far up. Bit murky. It's going to venture on in a little further here. Wait. Craig, and you can't really see the dam, hey? I just want to go into that wallow. 2 seconds, sorry. I'm trying to think. The only hornbills I saw were the African grey, and they were the same as the ones that we get down here. I then saw the big hornbills, our favourite ones, the southern ground hornbills. They, of course, were the same too. And then we saw the black and white casked hornbills. I don't know if we get them here. I was sad I didn't get to see the silvery-cheeked hornbills. But I kind of wish, like I said, I wish I had my big bird book here so we could have a look. But I'm pretty sure the equivalent of the yellow-billed up there and the red-billed are very much the same, just occurring in a different part, and different, not quite hemisphere, but somewhere around there. That would have been quite cool. We could have gone through all of the hornbills. So I stopped at this pan hoping that we were going to see some terrapins or some water scorpions or some African land snails or frogs, but that does not seem to be the case out here at this little pan. So we shall carry on to Chele pan, which is one that means frog. Hopefully we'll find some frogs there, but off we go to Tristan, who has apparently got a hippo that is unimpressed with the arrival of the elephants.
Well, we're still sitting with our ellies and still enjoying the fact that they are swimming around and taking it as fun and as kind of easy at the same time as they can. I feel sorry for this hippo. He's really having a tough time. There's so much noise and boisterousness all around him. I think all he wants is just to chill, and there's just more and more ellies arriving by the minute, so there's a whole bunch more that are on their way. Whether they're going to join these Boisterous 3, I'm not quite sure, but how cool is that to have a hippo with the ellies behind? Very, very cool. Now let's see, is this ellie going to go in? There's another ellie that's coming on its way, and he looks like a much younger bull. Yes, here he comes. So that's another one, and there should be another 2 youngsters that might join in on the fun eventually. There's also some behind us, which is the tiny little baby, I think, that's behind us. Yes, there's the tiny little one. And so the lions, I don't know where they are, but hopefully they have gone a little bit further away, because that little one is obviously going to be a little bit of danger. But how cool is this? Anyway, we're going to do another little live broadcast, so I'm just going to keep quiet for the next little bit. Good afternoon and welcome to not so sunny South Africa, a rather drizzly, overcast, wet day, but it is action absolutely everywhere, so it's wonderful to have you all with us. My name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got Sebastian, so there's his thumb, and we are coming to you live from South Africa, which means that you can interact with us and ask us as many questions as you want about these crazy elephants that are having the best time in this waterhole, and you can do that by just posting your comments or your questions in the comments section below, and we'll try and answer as many as possible. Now, there are 3 elephants that are in the water, but so many are starting to arrive. We've got more and more and more elephants that are piling into this waterhole, and it's probably because it's a bit of an overcast day. They're wet anyway. They might as well just get completely into the water and submerge, and there's lots of young ones that are pushing each other around, going on top of each other, and there's splashing and crashing and all kinds of things that are happening. And there's a poor hippo that is caught in amongst all of this, that is feeling very sorry for himself because his very placid waterhole has been completely ruined by a whole bunch of elephants that are splashing around all over the place. Now, Angela, who's all the way from Arkansas, you say hello. Well, lovely to have you with us. I hope that you're going to enjoy these playful ellies as they splash about, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day wherever you may be. Now, there's some more ellies that are coming along, and I do apologize if you saw a pole for a second there. That's because it's raining today, and so with our equipment on the vehicle, we need to keep it dry, and so that's why we have a pole there. So I do apologize. Now, I'm sitting here at this waterhole, and my good friend Brent, who is not so far away, is at a different waterhole, and he has ellies that are busy running away from it rather than into it.
So something's gone on. Another herd of elephants have just arrived, and there's quite a lot of noises and upset elephant going on, and a whole lot of them just charged out of the water. So there could be a big bull that's arrived, but there's another breeding herd. Oh, elephants everywhere. Another herd's just arriving around us. There must be close on 60 or 70 elephants around. They're just coming out of the woodwork. Wow, there's a serious argument going on. You can see the elephants are upset. This female in front of us, her tail's erect. Now, Kimberly says, do they mind us being so close? They don't, Kimberly. What the upset at the moment is all upset with other elephants, and lots of trumpeting. So maybe it's two herds that don't get on too well. And there we go. You can see some of them. That's where that big sort of commotion went on. But now the rest of the herds are splashing around in the water. So, by the way, my name's Brent. So we're about 20, well, no, about a 10-minute drive away from Tristan, and there's just elephants arriving. There's a group of young males here, or let me go backwards a little bit, who are having the absolute best time and are completely ignoring all the other commotion between the other elephants. Let me try go back a bit further, Dave. Let's turn this way maybe a little bit. Sorry, we've got roofs and rain covers on. It's been raining all afternoon. So there we go. I think there we go. Try to keep my head out of your way. Isn't that beautiful? So these are all sort of teenage boys having a good old splish splash. They must know it's World Water Day, and they're taking full advantage of the waterhole. It's always such a special sighting to see elephants swimming. And the teenage boys, oh, it's Fang's herd coming in. That's all the commotion. Fang, here comes Fang. Now Fang is that female elephant there with a very distinct backwards tusk, and she's got one of the biggest herds in this area. So there we go, that's her. And this is going to be special. We had her swimming a few days ago, and she's one of the few adult females who really enjoys a good swim. Here they come charging in. Absolutely stunning. Cola is wondering, will there be massive conflict between the herds? What I think happened here is that the herds actually got separated, and all that trumpeting and roaring and grumbling was actually the two herds joining. And there we go, you can see a Chitwa safari vehicle also enjoying this incredible sighting. We are on Chitwa at the moment, and the lodge is just behind us. Rochelle says, oh my word, there are so many elephants. And Rochelle, there's still more coming from a distance away. But look at that little one charging in. Yay, swim time. So even though it is a cool day today, the water's probably quite warm, around 20 degrees Celsius. So the elephants really enjoy a good swim. I'm surprised that some of those young boys haven't decided to start chasing the hippopotamus yet. They do that from time to time. Monique's wondering, will the matriarch swim or look after the herd? Normally they don't swim so much, but I have seen the matriarch of this herd. She's walking towards us at the moment, a little bit to the left. There she is. That's her there. That's the matriarch. That's FANG. That's her nickname, with that backwards facing tusk. So I have seen her swim on quite a few occasions. Now I'm in a position now where we're about to get surrounded by elephants, and one must always be careful. Sorry, my head's popping into that, but I'm trying to make sure the elephants don't get all around us. And I'm just keeping an eye out. There's elephants going to the left of us, to the right of us. We've got a cheeky young boy who was charging towards us. Don't you start nonsense, mister. It's actually a cheeky young girl. Brrr. Funny little trumpet. Now, when you... Oh, look, it is a little boy, sorry. I was right. Look at it, having so much fun on the slippery bank. Now I've got an elephant literally 2 or 3 meters away from me down here on my right. You can see all the ellies right here. Now a lot of people start moving in this situation. We're about to get surrounded by elephants, and when you are in these situations, it is important to be very calm and not move at all. I'll keep talking, I'll keep my voice calm. That normally keeps the elephants calm. And judging from all the elephants, there's no sign of aggression towards us at the moment. They're just passing through. This is a herd I know very well. I've been watching them for 3 years. Hi, guys. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So it's important to stay very calm in these situations. So as you can see, we're surrounded by elephants. I'm watching each and individual's body language, and that's going to tell me if there's possibly going to be a problem from an individual. I'm keeping a close eye on females with young babies, like this one right next to us. Hello, big girl. Oh, yes. It's all okay, big girl. There we go. And it's very important to just stay calm. These two, there we go, another little baby coming right up towards us. Hi, guys. Isn't this amazing? I'm just going to keep quiet so you can hear some of the sounds. Look at this one. Oh, to you too, naughty little boy. Don't you trumpet at me, I'll sort you out. Yes, off you go, down the hill. Okay, so I'm going to wait for the rest of the herd to move past me. It's not a good time to move the car, and then I'll turn around and we'll carry on watching them swim. Hopefully they're going to chase some hippos shortly. In the meantime, let's go back across to Tristan's ellies, who can't decide whether to stay in the pool. Isn't that amazing? Or get out.
Now, our ellies are just finishing up on their swim. It sounds like Brent's having an amazing sighting where he is. We had an epic situation on our side as well with the ellies. One of them fell down the bank, and moms came rushing in, screaming and shouting, and there was just this insane audio that we had just now, and there kind of was this whole hiatus that took place. And funnily enough, actually in this whole situation is 3 male lions as well that have just disappeared behind the bank. They started to actually roar as well, so it was just absolute cacophony of noise around the dam. But our ellies, young bulls, are still playing. They're not anyway perturbed by the lions. They know that these guys are far too big to try and kind of push for any lions to really be a danger to them while they're swimming. So they still happily playing, having the best time. And I think it's the original ellies that came in. So at first it was a couple of the young boys that were in here, and then the rest of the herd arrived, and it seems like it's still the young boys that have remained right until the end. It's absolutely amazing how playful they get when they are in water. So Laurie, you say you love all of their splashes. Their splashes are amazing. It's incredible how much water they can push. I suppose they are massive animals, and on the bigger elephants you'll find a situation where their trunks are close to sort of 250 pounds alone, and so lots of water gets splashed all over the place, and it's a big fun affair in the water hole, and everybody kind of goes absolutely crazy when they're in here, and it's amazing just to watch. The best is when you get little ones in as well, because they also frolic about, and you find that the sort of older ones have to be a bit careful about the way that they push each other, because the little ones get caught up in amongst it. But can you hear all the splashing that's going on? Amazing. Very, very cool to see. It's a special thing to watch Ellies at play like this. We've been fortunate and spoiled that, like I say, Brent has got an amazing herd all around him, and we've got just absolute playfulness on our side. It's an elephant fiesta this afternoon at this stage of the game. We've had just elephants all over the place. Look at this. So you can see they do this from time to time. They climb onto each other's backs, and it's almost a bit of a domination thing. So as they kind of climb on, it's almost to say to the other one, I'm bigger and stronger than you. Look, I can kind of pin you down. And so that's why they do it. And then you'll find that the next one will come along and push that one, and lots of pushing that takes place. And when they lock tusks like that, even though it looks like they're being quite serious, they're actually being very gentle. But it's important that they do these things as young males, because when they get older, this is how they're going to challenge for females. If there's another equally powerful male around, they're going to have to push and clash tusks. And so this is all training for later. Even though it looks like a lot of fun games, and it is fun, they're going to have a situation where later they will use these skills and techniques that they're busy employing right now. So it's a pretty epic thing to watch, and amazing to see how they actually sort of train themselves inadvertently to be able to fight later in life. Right now, our Ellies are carrying on, and I believe Brent's Ellies have decided to join in on the water party, and it sounds like they've also gone in for a bit of a dip.
Well, someone was asking if the matriarchs ever swim. There is the matriarch of this herd, FANG, absolutely loving a good swim. There she is. And lots of little ones have been trying to climb on her and play with her. And they just look like they're having the absolute best time. And look at that, isn't that just beautiful? Now, after a good swim, elephants often like a good dust bath. So if we look on the opposite side, you can't get them. Sorry, Dave. Let me just move quickly. So when? There we go. After a good swim, it's always nice to have a good dust bath. So there we go. Look at them enjoying that nice soft sand. Still special to have Ellies like this. And Derek was wondering, do elephants ever become, or hippos ever become aggressive with the elephants? They can do, but normally it's the other way around. Young bulls like to chase the hippos just for fun. I'm actually surprised none of the young bulls decided to chase the resident hippos today. But here we go. You can see flipping and flopping in the sand, and it's a good spa day for the elephants. Now, of course, what a wonderful day to spend World Water Day with elephants around water holes, not waterfalls, cavorting and enjoying. So from all of us here, happy World Water Day, and keep a lookout for our Go Live notifications, or join us on YouTube. Just type in Safari Live. Toodles! Look at this little one here, Dave. He's arguing with the hill, trumpeting at it as it. Come on, up you go. You can do it. You can do it. Slipping and sliding. Oh, nearly there, nearly there. Well done. Yes, I'm sorry. It's my fault the hill was being cheeky. Yes, my fault. Don't go down again, you silly thing. Idiot. What a silly elephant. What a silly elephant. Behaving like an absolute clown. To you too. Where's he gone now? He's gone off behind us somewhere. And you can have a look back down to the right. The elephant's in the sand. Oh, sweet. Still climbing on top of each other. Lots of games going on. That is one of the wonderful things about these really big herds. Bianca says this is honestly the cutest thing I've seen. It is very cute, and it's very special when elephants are in these moods, and I actually really believe they're in an absolutely thoroughly wonderful mood. And sort of, this is just, it's wonderful, it's cool, it's wet, we went for a swim, now we're having a sand bath. Oh wow. That looks comfortable. I wouldn't mind lying in the sand like that for a bit. Very, very special. Look at the little one lower down. Look at that. Too lazy to move. There we go. Chris says, great behavioral observation. It is wonderful to watch elephants when they're in such a good mood like this. And they are just too special. It's always wonderful to see elephants, but when they're in this type of mood, it is absolutely magic. Now, give me one word how this sighting has made you feel. Hashtags for your life. I just want one word. Mine is enthralled. That's my one word. What are you doing, you silly little Ellie? They're pushing sand down the hill. Oh, don't fall over. Don't fall off the edge. That would be quite funny, though. The next one arriving, fresh out of the water. Very, very special. Off to go fight with the other three. Now this little one's deciding the sand is still better than any other sort of elephant companionship for now. Leave me alone. I'm just staying in the sand pit. Why do you have to come bully me now? I was quite happy all on my own. Stop it! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone, you bully! Now, there's almost been a word from that little family group, and there's only those two left. So it's going to be interesting to see whether that one's decided, okay, Mom's called, it's time to go, and I'm getting bullied by a teenager, I'm out of here. That's it, you've ruined my sandpit. I'm going to go find my mother, and she's going to beat you if you keep doing that to me. Mom! 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 I'm coming! Mom! He's bullying me! Yes, there we go. There's another teenager for you to play with. Better size than picking on the little one. Well, we're going to spend some more time at the dam here. There's still lots of elephants around. We'll see what they get up to next. In the meantime, Taylor has found a creepy crawly.
Look who I got. Mildred. Mildred's been crawling around on my hat, as you can see, doing all sorts of creepy things. I saved it from being eaten by a hornbill. I couldn't. It's such a fantastic specimen of a millipede. Please don't touch my face. Please don't touch my face, Mildred. Please just stay on my hat. We're trying to locate her safely. It's not comfortable when she touches your face. But weird. A little bit creepy. Her feet are like Velcro. Even though I've got nothing Velcro on my body. She's incredibly nimble. This one's got strong feet. I even found an ant that was stuck to her feet. And then I saved the ant. We are going to release it. You can see, look at all the stuff it's put on my hat. Isn't that nice? It was clean. It was a very clean hat earlier today. Not anymore. Where's she gone? She's still there. Mildred? Not in my hair either. No. They're pretty cool little creatures. This one in particular is quite relaxed, as you can see. Normally they curl up in a ball when they feel threatened, and then they often defecate. Most of you know that they contain small amounts of cyanide. So you wouldn't want to eat one of these. And she's huge. Must be about 20 centimeters in length, easily. Almost the length of a ruler. A really, really big one. And down she crawls, down my arm, with absolute ease. I will release her in a minute, don't worry. Look at the beautiful coloration. You get different colored millipedes as well. Some have more red on them, black. They normally do have contrasting colors like this. And you can see she's got the orange legs and the slight orange between a sort of exoskeleton. Oh, she goes, crawling down my arm. She's going to come back up the other side. Come here. Where'd you go? You've got to be gentle with them, and then they normally don't mind so much, but I'm going to put her back. Okay. Well, Craig and I came up this road. I can't start the car. Because we thought where was a leopard. There were lots of francolins going ballistic and making that terrifying noise that they normally do. It wasn't. It was a snake eagle that was sitting up in the tree that was terrifying them, so that was a bit disappointing. Now we think that water has got into our car somewhere because it's making a very strange noise, so might have to go home. No, Rad, Dad, you're wondering if Mildred's bite is toxic? Well, let's have a look and see if we can actually have a look at her head. Now, you can see... Are you going to stay still enough so that we can see? No, Mildred, we're trying to look at your face. Maybe, Craig, you can navigate there. She doesn't have massive mandibles. Remember, they're feeding on decaying vegetation. They typically like old leaves. It's their favorite thing. She's rearing now, though. Settle, Mildred. And that's just the pet name we give all millipedes. They're called Mildreds instead of millipedes because, you know, why not? So her bite, I don't think, is what's got the cyanide. I think she's actually just filled with it. She's able to synthesize it. Because I'm trying to think, all the leaves and things that she's feeding on doesn't necessarily have cyanide. So I wonder how she does synthesize it. And she doesn't have eyes either. She's got sort of nerve ganglia that will help her feel where she needs to go. That's why I think she's trying to climb up a tree now, trying to feel if there's anything that she can sort of grab that's above her. No, just carrying on along my arm again, going to go the same pathway. So cool, and you always see them coming out after the rain. They reckon you need to eat about 100 of these before you can be affected with cyanide poisoning. Anyways, we may have to slowly make our way back to camp. So, Conrad, I hope you're ready for us because our car's making a horrific noise. It sounds like a relay or something has got wet. I'm worried I'm going to break jigger. So we may start returning home. But off you go to Tristan, who will keep you entertained with his swimming elephants.
Well, not so much me this afternoon. It's been more the elephants that have entertained everybody by playing and going crazy the way that they have over the last little bit. So what we're just trying to do is just trying to reposition ourselves slightly because they're quite far away and it's not really kind of as close as we wanted it to be. So what Seb and I are going to do is we're going to try a little sneaky and see if we can get ourselves into a little bit of a different position, and while I do that, Seb is going to wipe his lens because there's a bit of rain that's filtering onto it. Now, interestingly enough, for those of you that weren't watching our broadcast just now, the Avoca males were roaring. So if we were talking about it that we hadn't heard them roar, well, I can tell you right now that they most certainly are roaring, and they roared full steam ahead. The elephants were trumpeting, and they decided, well, we're not going to let you kind of make the rules around here. We're going to roar our hearts out too and just tell everybody exactly where they are. So they're somewhere on the left. We'll go and find them again just now. But for now, we are on elephant duty, and so I'm going to just try and position ourselves in a little bit of a different spot. This is a spot that we used before when animals come down to Buffelshoek Dam. It's a place where they sometimes come to drink, and so if you plan it carefully... Now, sorry, Seb, there's going to be a bit of a bump now. There we go, there's a bit of a bump, and over we go, and into a little ditch we go. Oh, now I've stalled the car, oopsie. Let's not do that. Now we'll get ourselves down eventually. It's just taking a little bit of time. So we'll just try and get round a little bit. Now Rebecca says awkward. It's fine, Rebecca. You come drive a car and talk and try and see where you're going, and we'll then discuss your driving skills when you do. There we go. So that's what we wanted. There we go. Now we've got a much better view, nice and kind of eye level again, and much closer than what we were just now. So we can see the splashing firsthand at this stage, which is going to be a lot, I'm pretty sure. These boys are still having a really good time of it at the moment. They're absolutely loving pushing each other around. It's the original 4 that we had, so they've been in all the time that we've been here, which has been a rather long time, that is. Maximus, you're asking if a male elephant with 1 tusk would be less likely to breathe. So Maximus, the tusk has got nothing to do with their breathing. It's got no effect whatsoever on their breathing. It's like asking you if you have difficulty breathing if you lose a tooth. It doesn't affect their breathing in any way whatsoever. Breeding. Okay, so breeding, no, not really. I mean, as long as he's a big dominant male and he can fight for females, he should be fine. Of course, you have a situation where you might have a kind of situation where a bigger bull with 2 tusks might be able to dominate a 1-tusked elephant, but I mean, it's very seldom. I've seen 1-tusked bulls mating with females countless times and dominating and being really big adult males. So not really. It's more about the strength. And when you find these guys fighting, they bump heads and they push each other as opposed to actually using their tusks to try and hurt each other. Now, lovely Laurie, 1-tusk bulls on Djuma, there are 36 of them in total, and they roam around here. We know them all by name, and they are all very well known and ID'd. No, I have absolutely no idea how many 1-tusk bulls there are on Djuma. It's completely random. We get, I don't know how many different elephants coming through this area. There's over 18,000 elephants in the Kruger National Park, and of that I can guarantee you that there's probably at least 1,000 bulls that don't only have 1 tusk. So to know every single one and to count how many there are on Djuma at any one time is pretty difficult. So my answer to that is I have absolutely no idea, and I'm pretty sure it would be an almost impossible task to follow exactly how many 1-tusk bulls we have on Djuma at any one time. It's just, you know, unless we go through an elephant drought and we just see one. Other than that, it would be very, very, very difficult to know exactly. They move throughout here. We know that during the course of a day, you can get movement of 20, 30, 40 different bull elephants coming through Djuma if they wanted to. So, you know, it's a tough thing to know. Numbers of elephants on Djuma at any one time is always a tough kind of numbered or kind of thing to guess or estimate. It's pretty random 90% of the time. So what I can tell you is that we do definitely have one. That's what I can tell you, which is the one that we are seeing busy playing in the water at the moment. It's a individual that has 1 tusk, and the rest of the herd seem to all have 2. So we have at least one is probably a good answer for you at the moment. Can't believe how long they've played for this afternoon. It's been a non-stop affair from these guys. They've just kind of gotten in and they've just thoroughly loved it. And it's now starting to rain again, so I wonder if they're just going to keep going with this all day long until it gets close to the sunset, which I'm sure will be pretty soon given how cloudy it is. but it's really quite phenomenal to watch how much kind of playing has taken place this afternoon. Very cool to hear the noises of the splashing and the tusks and ears flapping against the water. It's pretty special sounds that you hear when you sit with these guys. It's amazing though, they get to like a point where they get tired and it's a brief hiatus, and then one starts and then all of them start going and they all start pushing each other and kind of going crazy. But Helena, these are teenage bull elephants. None of these are old elephants at all. These are all elephants that are between 10 and 20 years old, which is teenage girls. I don't know. Sorry, Rebecca, I can't hear you today. You mumbling. But anyway, there's a situation where there's girls. Yes, they do sometimes play. There's sometimes the whole herd will come in and the entire, even the adult females will play. But it's only really the boys that will spend endless hours. The girls play a little bit and then they kind of go out and they join the moms, but you'll find that they very seldom spend hours and hours in here like these guys do. And so hopefully we'll have a situation where maybe we'll get some girls joining just now. There was some in a little bit earlier when the whole herd was in. There were a few of the ladies that will also kind of pushing each other around and having a bit of a swim. But it's definitely, the rain is starting again, and we had a brief hiatus in the rain, and it's now starting to come down with a bit more venom once again, and we're starting to get a lot more drizzle falling on us and kind of wetting all over the place. And you know, I think it's going to be maybe the end of our boys having a swim. It looks like they're all departing now. They're all kind of trying to go around the corner. Now I'm going to quickly send you across to Taylor because she has something special.
Great, give me a high five! Our car is breaking, but we have got wild dogs. Woo! Hi, puppies. We're also now going past. I apologize. You may be able to hear a zzz noise. Please ignore it, because we've got wild dogs. Because we got them. We got wild dogs. I have to call them in on the radio. If any stations can copy me, I've got a pack of wild dogs. They're mobile down that link road between Vuyatela. I gotta go towards Vuyatela Pan. I'm just here by myself. Well, anyone's supposed to join. Sorry, everybody. Let me quickly do that. No. You cannot go into someone's house, wild dogs. There's lanes. It's gonna be here. Oh, there's so many. Oh, they're chasing it. Watch it. Goodness. Crazy. Oh, goodness. Firstly, that they can jump a really and buffalo and elephants out. Okay, let me go. So we would no, they're looking. They are looking for something. Everybody, I do apologize. There seems to be some gremlins attacking me at the moment. Now, that house that you can see is actually the landowners. That's Yuri and Pippa's house that we're looking at the moment. I was hoping they weren't going to go to. Those in Nyala couldn't have been any luckier to have the lodges nearby with those fences up, because the dogs are probably not going to be able to go through it. The strands are not wide enough. If they wanted to, they could dive through, but I highly doubt that they will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 or 8 dogs here, at least, that I can see. This is so cool. I can't believe they came back. Remember I said we were going to check them? Now they're going to run right past the vehicle. This is amazing. Not only did we get to see a Mildred today, we got to see a pack of dogs, and we are on our way home. Craig is going to wipe the lens, everybody. Apologies. Of course, it is raining, as you know. Oh, I'm so excited. Puppies that are hungry and on the move. Incredible. Oh, what do they got? What do they got? They've got something? Oh, it's a scrub hare. I'm so sorry, little scrub hare. Oh, that was quick. I just heard a very, very faint distress call. It must have been trying to cower away underneath a log. No, that's not going to go very far for an entire pack of dogs. This one dog is going to gobble it all up. And for those of you that, of course, are feeling a bit sorry for that scrub hare, I don't think it even knew what hit it, to be honest. This is, of course, just nature and just one of those things. They do need to eat as well, and wild dogs are an endangered species. Their population is on the decline. So even though it's just a small snack, it will power them through, and they are desperately looking for something bigger. So we're going to make sure that we try and follow these dogs for as long as we can. Let me just turn all my radios up very quickly. I'm obviously going to have to jump onto the game drive radio. Amazing. I bet you all are super excited to see these wild dogs. We don't get to see them very often. I've been lucky. This is the second time I've seen them since I've been back. Zephy, you said that scrub hare is barely a snack for one. You're quite correct in saying that. You're definitely correct. Oh, I'm starting to hear the birds alarming now. But it's better than nothing. And there are plenty impala, plenty inyala. There's so many animals around here. They're just all cowering away from the rain at the moment. Cool. Let's go up in front of them again, Craig. Sorry again about the noise, because I want to try and keep ahead of them. We know how fast they can move. Woo! You've all got great senses of humor, but also terrible at the same time. Some of you have said that was the damn cam scrub hare, and you're wondering, what are you going to watch tonight? I'm sorry that I'm laughing. I'm going to follow this one that's up in front. See, they're looking to flush things out. I'm trying to look around to see if I can see any more impala. Sure, those Inyala were really lucky, hey? That was incredible. Good acting on those Inyala. Definitely wasn't their day. That would have been an ideal meal for these adults. Ferrari safaris in the rain. Could this day get any better? Now, Richter, you said they're such efficient hunters. They are indeed. Now, they're actually being quite quiet. Obviously, they've rallied one another up earlier. They're now on the prowl. Hello, beautifuls. Very wet, as you can see. Oh, and one's got a collar, Craig. So we go. One of the big males has got a collar. Maybe this will help you in identifying perhaps the pack. I can't remember who wears a collar and who doesn't anymore. It's hard when you haven't seen them for a while. And we're downwind of them. We're getting that wonderful scent of smelly, stinky sock cheese. Okay, we're going to follow them. About dogs, you just go where they go. They're so quick. See, they're checking here. They know that the impala, the inyala, everybody's hiding away from the wind, the rain that we've had all day long. We go around. Hold on here, Craig. Down a few bumps. Oh, this day could not get any better. Please don't break, Jigger. Just last a little bit. I was so close to home. Now, Joanna, you're wondering, what is the reason? I apologize, I'm just trying to get us into a good position here. What is the reason that wild dogs are endangered? The biggest reason, habitat loss is always one of them, and then human-wildlife conflict is another one. And I'm turning my game drive radio off. And then the other thing is diseases that come about, and often these diseases are brought in by domestic animals, like dogs, bringing in canine distemper, rabies. They are huge, huge problems. And because they're so social, and the way they greet one another is, of course, by licking, they smell one another often, these diseases are passed on very, very quickly, and it will wipe out an entire pack. So that's the biggest problem. There's one still trotting through. You see, the problem here is that as they move through these thickets, they, Craig is going to wipe the, okay, Craig's just wiping his lens again. So they're going to have the birds against them. They're going to start alarming through these thickets. Joy, you're wondering if I thought the alpha female looked pregnant. I haven't even had a chance to identify who the alpha female is. So I couldn't even tell you, I'm afraid. I don't even know who she is. I'm just trying to keep tabs on them as they run through. Looks like they are trying to flush little scrub hares, perhaps a steenbok or a deka out. But let's go up ahead again. Craig, how bad is that sound? Pretty bad. Again, I'm apologizing for the sound of the car. We were almost in camp to go and find out what's wrong with this car. I suspect one of the relays has just got wet because I can see a bit of water has leaked in somewhere. No warning lights on. Can't smell smoke or see smoke. I can't smell fire, but I can't see smoke either. So, well, we'll just drive. We'll just carry on until this car stops going, especially if we've got wild dogs. My favorite part, where Craig has to try film, wipe the camera lens and hold on for dear life. Hey Craig, how excited are you? He said it's the best, with the straightest face you've ever seen. Okay, now we're getting into good country for these dogs. It might be a bit tricky for us to navigate around here, however. Okay, Craig is going to constantly keep wiping that lens as we're driving. Obviously the drizzle that we've got at the moment is spraying back into the car and going onto the lens. We want to make sure you've got the clearest view possible. So, oh no, don't go down in there, doggies. That's going to be difficult for me. But of course I want you to get a meal, so go where you need to go. They are so fast and so nimble, even though we've got really small cars and we're able to crash and turn pretty sharp in comparison to the vehicles we're driving up in the Mara. It's still always a challenge. We're going to be lots of prey species along the drainage line. Lots of duiker, lots of steenbok, bushbuck, inyala. This is always a hot spot down on the drainage lines. I can already hear the birds alarming. Come on, doggies, you can do it. Now, they're quite big. For those of you that have never seen a wild dog in real life, they're incredibly large. In fact, they must stand taller than my knee. Way taller than my knee, in fact. Probably halfway between my knee and my hip. Tall dogs, but slender. Not too muscular, because of course they need to be quick. Very cool doggies. We're following them, so they're listening. They've got their ears pricked, noses pointed to the sky, trying to pick up on any sense. And they'll just come running on either side of the car. It's really amazing. When you are with wild dogs and they are on the hunt, it feels as though you are in the pack hunting with them. It is insane. They're going to stop. Now what they're going to do is they're going to scan around. They're going to listen. I'm going to try and see if I can find the alpha female, but I don't know where she is. Now, AMG, you're wondering if I know why do birds alarm at wild dogs. Yes, of course. Well, they're still a predator. And if there's a bird sitting on the ground, it wouldn't surprise me if a pack of dogs went racing through a flock of guinea fowl and tried to grab one of them. That would definitely happen. So they're still going to alarm at them. I'm going to jump up again and keep going forward. I don't want to get too far behind these dogs at all. Again, we're coming into some thicker places. We've got a drainage line down here on our left. The Mulwati's in here. And this area is quite tough to navigate. Luckily, Weaver's Nest is not too far away from here. So if I feel like we're going to get a better chance of actually going all the way around, we might do that. Oh, they've seen something. Oh, they're chasing a duiker. Hold on. Duiker's running. The duiker's getting away. Go, duiker. Oh my goodness, this is the second time I've ever seen it. The dogs are running as fast as they can run. But the duiker is bouncing. It is leaping heights. I've never seen a duiker leap before. Okay. No, I can't see them. Oh no, car, don't stop now. Hold on, Craig, we're going in. I didn't hear any squeals. I can't hear the dogs chattering, which they normally do. Maybe the duiker got away. I've seen it before. I've told you stories of this, going side by side with one, watching it leap huge height. There the dogs are. Hold on, Craig, sorry. This is what we call Ferrari safaris, and we do not let any trees get in our way. They're off again. Oh no. Don't go that way. Hold on, Craig. Let's hope we don't pull a Tristan here. Tyre, don't fall off the car either. No, I'm running into obstacles. Oh, there they are. Phew. I forget we have a roof on as well. You okay, Craig? You still on? Hold on. There they go. They are buzzed. Are you sure you're right, Craig? There they go. I think they've lost the Dacre though. Don't worry, I'm going this way. Craig thought I was going to run over one of the dogs. I'll never run over a dog. Never. Here they are. Oh, my heart. This is so cool. One of the coolest things in the whole wide world, to be able to be chasing after wild dogs as they try and catch their prey. Now, that Dacre won today, that just outperformed the wild dogs in every now and then. Oh, the Standoff! Desperately trying to go, but the Standoff is also too quick for the dogs. Hold on, Craig. Only one dog is chasing. Trying to flush all the smaller antelope that are out in here. I don't know if it's going to get it. Also, I think it just had too much of a lead. Now, wild dogs are, of course... Trying to listen. Wild dogs are, of course, incredible at stamina, and they can just keep going, which is why they'll hunt after hunt after hunt. And not worry, Craig's going to wipe the camera again. I've now lost that dog. Rebecca, are you still there? I'm just checking, because I may have pulled my earpiece out. Okay, Rebecca's still there. I don't know where to look now. Okay, we're going to try and find these dogs again. I'm going to send you back to Tristan. A bit of bundu bashing.
Well, good luck, Taylor, is all happening this afternoon. We've had swimming elephants, we've had roaring lions, well, not yet on camera, but we will get them on camera eventually. We've had wild dogs chasing around, and so hopefully Taylor keeps Craig, Jigger's front tire, and doesn't break Jigger, because apparently Jigger was making a bit of a noise before Taylor started her thing. But we managed to find our lions again in, well, what can only be described as possibly one of the worst areas that I have off-roaded in Djuma. It is just horrible. It is thick grass, it is knob thorns everywhere. It is just not a very pleasant place at all. You can see what it looks like in here and how those lions disappear. So it took us a while to find them, but we're sitting with them now and they're rather sleepy. But while they're kind of sleeping, we've actually managed to accrue a few insects as we've been going. So Seb, I've got a number of insects here, which is quite cool, because oh, we've got another one there. So we've got insects everywhere. Let's start with this guy that's crawling away from us, where my finger is. So there's a little one that's crawling. I don't know what that is, but it's busy moving away from me at a rate of knots and is trying to get away. We then have to the front left, which looks like a little shield bug, that. We have this little guy in front here, which is a little caterpillar that is slowly moving down the dashboard as well and is inching its way along. There we go. Off you go, little one, down the rain covers, and let's see where you end up. And I wonder what it's actually going to do, because I'll have to try and rescue all of these insects and put them back in the bush, because they're all fallen off various parts of leaves.
Fire break next to me, so it was open. It was clear
to this point, but the myriad of insects. Then on the grass stalk, I've now got another little fella, which is very, very pretty. It's a tiny little kind of white insect. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I've seen these guys before, and I'm forgetting the name. I used to remember what they were called, but I can't remember its name at the moment. Just trying to think. I wonder if it's not one of the leaf hoppers, but I have seen them before, and I remember researching them and finding their name, but now I am at a loss as to what they're actually called. But you can see a fairly mobile little fella. Sorry, Seb, I'm trying to turn it. Oh, sorry, that's my fault, my fault. I let go of the grass stalk. Sorry, Seb. It's my fault. It's moving so quick. And there it goes towards the end. Now what, little one? So it's my fault that I'm moving the stalk so much. I've got the shakes the way that it's sitting. So Seb, let's not worry about that one anymore. And then over here on the left-hand side is another interesting little fella that's got an ant crawling on it. I don't know what this little thing is. How cool is that little guy? So it almost looks like a type of beetle, cicada almost. It's got massive eye, little yellow spots. I don't know. Has anybody ever seen one of these before? This is the first time that I've ever seen one of them. It actually looks a bit more jewel beetle-ish in the way that it's built. It's got, like I say, those big eyes, and it seems like an insect that's kind of feeding on its eye. That's ridiculous. What is going on? That is very, very interesting. I don't know what that bug is doing on its eye. I wonder if it's getting some sort of moisture from there. It looks like it's kind of gleaning moisture from its eye. That's very cool. It looks definitely like one of the jewel beetle family, so that particular kind of build and structure, but which one it is, I'm not quite sure. But that little insect is getting water from the actual carapace of this beetle for the exoskeleton. You see that? And the beetle doesn't seem to be too perturbed at all. It's kind of doing a little dance now as well. Wonder what is going on. That little beetle is definitely getting moisture from the bigger beetle. And the bigger beetle seems not in any bit worried about the fact that the little beetle is crawling all over its head, its eye. It's weird. I've never seen that before at all. But you can see quite a fancy looking fella. It's got little yellow head with black spots. What are you? So, Carla, you say this is the bug's windshield wiper? Yes, I suppose it would need one when it's raining like this, wouldn't it? I would love a windshield wiper if I was driving around, a little personal one, although I'm not a fan of things crawling over my eyes. It's a bit creepy. I don't know if you've ever had anything try crawl on your eyeball. It's not very pleasant at all, so I'm quite surprised that this one is being so relaxed about it. Maybe it's just wants the water cleaned off, and so it's willing to tolerate this little insect moving about. It's absolutely phenomenal. Look at that. You can see the little droplet of water that's being manipulated by that small little insect. This is very cool. Just goes to show you that sometimes, even though you've got big, ferocious lions next to you, there's a lot of interesting things happening all around. And we've just had one thing after another this afternoon, even though it's been horrendous weather. No, don't poo on my dashboard. This bug is pooing on my dashboard. Look, Seb, you see it's coming out the back end. Yeah. I'll put the grass there where it's coming out, so there you can see it. It's defecating on my dashboard. You naughty insect. What are you doing? Now I've just swallowed an insect because they're all attacking me at the moment. This is not going well. One is pooing on my dashboard. Another one's flown into my mouth. It's not good. These insects are out of control at the moment. I have to get everybody a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more sorted out. But this is such a cool thing. I'm thoroughly enjoying the fact that we've got so many little insects crawling around all over the place. So cool. And that little bug is still sitting on top, even though this one is busy going to the toilet. It's not only is it getting its windshield wipers done, it's also alleviating itself. There comes the other one to join. There we go. Let's see, what's it going to do? Nope, it's decided you are not a good individual. You're busy pooing. You're busy pooing on the dashboard, so I'm going to leave you in peace and I'm going to carry on. Good call. It's very, very, very socially awkward when one just takes, its ability to just poo on the dashboard and get a mess. This is ridiculous. Very, very, very cool. That's amazing. Well, just goes to show you, sometimes it's also worth sitting. Oh, there's another insect. Seb, you see it walking along on the door of the car. It's a longhorn beetle that we've got on the door of the vehicle that's busy walking along. So there we go. There goes our longhorn beetle. Where are you going? No, don't go off the side. We want to see you. That's also a very fancy fellow with his little orange dots and his big long antenna. And you can see, look at those massive jaws that it's got. So this is probably a wood-eating insect or vegetation plants that it's probably going after, and it's got very fancy little feet and amazing markings as well. Now it's going to go dropping down into the car and we're going to probably lose visual of it. This is like a living organism, this vehicle, after we've been crashing around. I feel like we've disturbed half the world's population of insects by kind of driving through the thickets here. I'm feeling a little bit guilty now. I didn't want all of these insects to kind of fall onto the car. I was hoping that we had not disturb too many. But I suppose when it's so wet, they can't fly away, and so they kind of just drop into the car. Now, there was another stick insect in here, but that seems to have disappeared for now. Maybe it's doing its best stick impression. The Seb's apparently got it on the camera. There we go, Seb, well done. Hold on, Seb's going to see if he can get it for us so that we can have a look at it, so that we can show you another species of insect. How many insect species is that we've just gotten through?
They don't bite, do they?
These guys are very toxic. There we go. Hello, fella. No.
Go away, Tristan.
Oh. So this is all going towards Seb now. No, there we go. All right, little one. So please excuse the black on my hands. It's from the steering wheel. Somebody decided to tape Wendy's steering wheel, and so it gives off this gluey, sticky residue that's black. But there is a stick insect, which, as you can see, resembles a stick. And so when this thing sits on a branch, or grass stalk in this case, would be almost impossible to see that. You would have no idea. It tucks its legs in a little bit and then becomes really tough to see these guys. So an incredible form of camouflage. Good. Well, our insects are going to keep crawling around. We'll probably keep them on for a little bit as friends and wait for our, not lazy lions, but our sleepy lions to wake up. And while we do that, let's send you back across to Taylor, who's managed to catch up with those frenetic wild dogs.
I can actually take a deep breath now. My goodness, what a goose chase we've been on, trying to drive round and round and round and round and round to find out where they'd gone. So I don't think that they caught the steenbok that we last saw one of them dashing after. It seems as though the prey is just too quick for the dogs today. At least they got a little nibble on a scrub here, however. But I don't think that this is the end of it. I think they're just taking a little break. And they all rally one another up once again and get on the move. We actually did see a couple of impala in this block too. Oh, this is exciting. Now, Daryl, you've asked this afternoon, seeing as though we've seen them chasing around and nibbling on a scrub hare, and your question with regards to the dogs is, how long can they go without food? Well, ideally these dogs need to eat every single day, and they do. They're not like lions that catch something as large as a buffalo and feed on it for a few days' time. They'll catch much smaller prey and devour it pretty much in one go. And that's because they're much smaller predators. They're not going to really defend their prey from a lion for a few days' time. So it's important that they eat it quickly. So I'm sure they could go a day or two without food, but then they're not going to have enough energy to keep on the go. And that, of course, is the most important thing, is that they constantly have this supply of energy so that they can carry on feeding it. There's now like 500 vehicles in the sighting, which is a little bit confusing. Not quite sure what's going on, but we're just going to carry on and go through. We're quicker. There we go. Yeah, there was no one in the sighting when we had the dogs. Now, I'm going to just sit here. They're going to run down the road and then they'll pull off. Phyllis, you're wondering how big is a wild dog? Can I compare it to another dog? I would say the size of a sheepdog, in fact. A border collie will probably be, in terms of height and just sort of the way, how slender they are. They're going to get going and then we'll pull off the road. There we go again. I'm going to try and get around them and get in front of them. So yeah, covered in all sorts of things. So there. Sorry, I'm just listening to Game Drive Radio. Let's have them moving out of the way. What I will try and do, like I said, is as soon as they can move off of the road, I'm going to go off of the road too. Yeah, they're not massive. They don't weigh too much either. Okay, they're going down there. I know that they might just run along this drainage system. They're going in at the moment. But they could turn and come back up this way. That's probably what they're going to do. Just listening to see if I can hear anything also. Any alarm calls from a bushbuck. Although sometimes with wild dogs, the animals end up staying quiet. They don't want to even announce that they're there because they don't use ambush hunting. There's a couple. Let's see. No, they're deciding. They're moving in and out of that drainage line. You can see them. Right. Well, I'm going to send you back across to Brent to figure out where these dogs are going. Apparently, he's moved off of Chitwa. I wonder where he's off to next.
Yeah, so I did some tracking on Chitwa. We had tracks of Tingana, but he went into Torchwood, and it looks like Kuchava as well went north. So not much else happening on Chitwa. The lines are south in Mala Mala, so I'm rushing back as the rain gets a little bit harder, and I'm going to go get warm and sit in the tent. Yay! So we're going to be in the tent. We've got a school drive starting in a little bit, so hopefully we'll have some interesting questions from the kiddies, and we can show them some cool stuff in the tent and under the microscope. So lots of fun. And Tristan is of course still with those male lions, and I'm a bit jealous of the wild dogs that Taylor is with, but hopefully I'll find them in the morning, or they come visit me in the tent. It's a possibility. So it's not raining too bad here on Djuma, but it was definitely raining much harder on Chitwa, and that weather is coming from the south and moving this way. Opa! And I've had the leopard visit me in the tent a couple of times while I've been in the tent, so it could happen today as well. Hasana. No, it's not Hasana. It's Hokamuri, but those are a bit old from the other morning. I just spotted a track there. Had to just double check. But it sounds like Tristan and Taylor are having a great time out there with dogs and cats. So let's go see what the cats are up to.
Well, Brenty, you haven't had the worst time either. You had an epic elephant encounter by the sounds of things, with ellies all around you and little babies falling down banks and all kinds of other things. So I think we've all been spoilt this afternoon. We've all had something nice to look at. Our cats have actually been the laziest of them all in terms of not moving very much. They found themselves a very thick spot. It's probably because they got disturbed by the ellies, so they thought to themselves, well, we're going to tuck ourselves away where nobody can see us, and then we won't be chased around and kind of hit or be trumpeted at or anything like that. So that's probably why they've stationed themselves now in the biggest thicket. What I'm hoping though is that as it starts getting a little darker, that they're going to start heading towards the dam again and maybe onto the dam wall. The problem is that I'm actually not even sure how I'm going to get out of here. I've literally got myself in, but I have no idea how I'm going to get out. There's literally everywhere I look is massive amounts of trees unless they move. If they decide not to move, I'm not really kind of sure how this is going to work, but we'll figure it out. I suppose it's not the first time I've gotten myself into a thicket like this. Pretty sure we'll be able to kind of get ourselves out again at some point. But it's going to be an interesting kind of evening as to whether these boys roar again. It was amazing how the elephants causing a lot of sort of trouble and a lot of trumpeting were the ones that sparked them to actually start roaring. And funny enough, when they were roaring, it sounded like only one was full-blooded roaring and another one joined in, but there was not all three of them, and they were actually quite soft in their roar. There wasn't a full-blooded vocalization that I would have expected from them, but it was almost as if they were kind of competing with the ellies just to say, well, we can also make quite a bit of noise as well.